Good morning, students. This is Rupa ma'am from Mayur Public School, and today it's our first video for Bio online class. So, the first chapter that is there in your class 9 syllabus is very similar to what we have done in class 8. The name of the chapter is The Fundamental Unit of Life, that is cell. So this word cell is not new to you because cell word was already introduced in your class 7th book. A yellow box was there and the cell term was introduced. You came to understand about the reality of the structural significance of cell in class 8. So from the same information you have gathered till now, let us try to understand that what do you mean by the word cell. Now, before we understand the biological meaning of the word, let us try to associate as many words with cell as possible. We will try to think out of box and connect the word cell to something that is not directly related to biology or any study material. So, when I used to take the class, some usual answer I used to get. For example, a student could tell me that, ma'am, this Duracell battery that we use in our remote or we utilize it any of the car battery, this battery is sometimes known as cell. Okay, point noted. Battery is also known as cell. Class 7th also gave you the same term. Some student can tell me, ma'am, the cell phone by which you are making this video is also known as cell sometimes. Okay, so the battery was also known as cell and this cell phone is also known as cell. Let us come to certain more words. Can you see this prison? Sometime a prison is also known as cell. That is why the cell number word is associated with it. That means the same word cell is utilized in so many different understandings. More words like this. You must have seen this while working on your Excel sheets while understanding computer education. So there is always a cell number in your Microsoft Excel word sheets also. So this is again a word related to cell. Now this is the cell that we are trying to understand in this class. So what makes the same word cell, C-E-L-L, being used to describe so many different parameters? All of them are very different from each other, but all of them has been given the common term of cell. So let us try to understand that beyond books, what is the terminology or what is the literal meaning or what is the concept behind the word cell. So let us try to associate three main things associated with each of the word. See, for being inside the concept of cell, first of all, there must be the presence of a compartment or a room or a box like structure that differentiate it from the rest of the environment. For example, let us see the book again. This is a cell phone. The cell phone marks a compartment. Can you see that? It is very different from the outer environment. The room has its wall that makes it different from the environment. The battery, this is a box of the battery or the compartment that makes it different from the environment. This is the cell that is present in the Microsoft Excel. So this box has a special compartment or different compartment that separates it from the other cell. So let us come to the second word that is important for understanding cell. Now, the cell, whatever concept is related to the word cell, must have a controlling center. Now, let us understand how the word is utilized in all of them. If we talk about this battery or we talk about this phone, it has a basic microchip or a basic motherboard that is controlling the whole phone. If it is going to give it damaged, none of the function can it. That means it is controlling center. When we talk of the battery and name it as cell, can you see the word Duracell? That means certain chemical reactions are going on. That is controlling the functioning of the cell. When we talk of this prison as the word cell, then there will be certain person who will be controlling the prison. So there is a control center who will decide what will go inside and what will come outside of the room. When we talk about Microsoft Excel sheet, again the user is controlling what is happening inside the cell. Similarly, the cell that we have to learn in this chapter is also having compartment like structure. Can you see? Different compartments, number of cells can be seen, and each of them will have a basic controlling center or the nucleus, which is also known as the brain of the cell. Let us try to understand what is the third important thing for being a cell. First is compartment or a room should be present. Second was the controlling center. The third word we have written over here is interaction. Now this interaction means there should be certain chemical reactions or something should be coming inside or going outside between the environment that is outside the cell and inside the cell. That means, for example, let us try to imagine an amoeba. It's a cell. The food comes inside that cell by the help of pseudopodia. That means from the environment it is taking in the food. Similarly, as per need, whatever waste is produced, it is going to throw out the waste outside. Are you understanding? This is the interaction with the environment from outside. Similarly, when we talk about interaction inside it, the mitochondria, the ATP, everything is interacting continuously for framing this cell as living. Similar thing here is also happening. The chemical reactions happening over here is the interactions going on. The kind of charges that are moving and making the phone work is also the interaction happening. The Excel sheet, all the commands that we are giving it to it on this box, inside this box is the interaction happening in it. Similarly, if I consider this prison as a room, so basically what is happening? I am saying something to you inside this room. You are reverting back to me. So again, my words are action. Your response, it could be positive or negative. It is a kind of again reaction. So we are interacting again. So we are understanding that the cell word is not only a biological term, but it can be utilized for different other concepts that fulfill three important parameters. First, it should have a compartment or a room that is separating it from the outside environment. Second, there must be a controlling center that is controlling the whole activity over here. Third, interactions must be going on, and those interactions should not only be between environment and the cell, but also inside the cell certain interactions should be going. So now it means that in cell we are making more focus on the biological cell. That means the living cell. So when we talk about cell and we have to again summarize all these important things, we have to talk about the main components of the living biological cell. So here the living or biological cell, which is the structural and functional unit of life, is made compartment by the presence of cell membrane. Okay, the controlling center is what? It's the nucleus. And the interaction happens because of the presence of cytoplasm and cell membrane. It's our biological cell. It is the smallest unit of life. That means it is able to known as a living organism or a living cell. Let us come beyond. So, basically we have known that cell is the structural and functional unit of life. This means, for example, when you have to make a wall, you cannot directly just take out a wall and place it somewhere. No, what do you have to do? You have to place each and every brick over each other. When you place each and every brick over each other, so that a complete wall or a complete room or a complete building is formed. Similarly, if there is a living organism, it cannot be made of a complete organ, but it will be made of individual cells which together frame the complete living organism. That is why cell is known as the structural and functional unit of life. So structural unit of life, why it is known as? Because it is the basic building block of all living organism. And why it is known as functional unit of life? Because each living cell has the capacity to perform certain basic functions that are the characteristics of all living organisms. Let us come beyond this topic now. Now, when we talk about the discovery of the cell, we need to understand about the contribution of Robert Hooke. Robert Hooke was the first person who observed cells in his simple microscope. There was no biological microscope that we have right now. Light microscope was not there. With the help of the similar structure, simple magnification was done, and this kind of polygonal cell-like structure was obtained in the bark of a plant. So these were basically dead cells. So Robert Hooke is the first one who discovered cell, and he observed it in the bark cell or the cortex cell. The first living cell was shown by or was discovered by Leeuwenhoek. He did it with its simple circulate experiment. His microscope looked like this, and by observing it he could first of all see certain living cells that were still living in nature and was interacting with the environment. Now, regarding different shapes of cell, we are going to discuss in video number 2. So please see video number 2 for the next topic.